like it got real intense real quick.
Yeah, because I learned early on that, you know, you fire him, he gonna fire right back. That's how the fight's gonna be, you know. So, look, y'all got a good taste of what this fight's gonna be like.
What's your mental game? Because it's like you embracing this underdog. You like your Cleveland Browns. It's like
100%.
You all about being the underdog.
Yeah,
like someone said you're 1,001 underdog.
Honestly, it sounds good, but this is literally where I come from. So I mean, if you do want to talk about Northeast Ohio, you want to talk about Cleveland. Cleveland is always an underdog. I mean, we've seen what they've done in the past, you know. But even now, with the kind of team that they have, they still are, you know, kind of counted out. And you know, that's where I come from as well. I mean, where I come from, everybody works. We work hard. We work our nails to the bone, and you know, and we do the best we can. We have fun when we can, but then we get right back to work on Monday.
You ever call it in shape street fighter?
I think I have been.
Shawn, does it bother you, or does it come to your mind that fighting at 147, right? That you're the champion that has probably one of the best resumes out there.
Yeah, dude.
And they still, most pundits, people have Errol Spence as the favorite. What do you think? What do you say to that?
You know what? It doesn't bother me. I honestly, I never know my record until I hear it. I know right now I'm 32-1, but I don't know it unless I hear it. I don't reflect on what I've done, who I've done it against. Obviously, when you're getting prepared for a fight, you may take a look back on something, but you know, that's for y'all. You know, the resume is for y'all to compare and contrast and so on and so forth. For me, it's all about who's in front of me.
Shawn, when you say that he's going to be broken,
yeah,
what do you mean by that? Or what is it going to take to make that happen?
You know what? I think that I have the right recipe to make that happen. Better fit to ask that question when it's all done, if not, if you hadn't seen it. I do know that I have the right kind of boxing style required to really challenge him, both physically, mentally, the whole nine. You know, challenge his heart. You know, when I talk about breaking him, I do talk about literally doing some things that are going to make him question himself and what he can do against me. And I think that's the first step to breaking somebody.
You brought in David Benavidez, and you said you wanted to spar with Demetrius Andre. Did you feel like you needed to drastically change your camp to get better sparring, or what was the reason behind getting those two world champions, former champions?
We didn't really change too much at all. We stuck with the same program. Going down to D.C., this was my second camp down there. At that point in camp, my dad looked around. He said, who's the best guy we could spar with at this point to really gauge where we're at and what we're doing? And David was the one that came to his mind. I'm very appreciative that he and his dad and his camp allowed us to go out there and spar with him, get some great 10 rounds of sparring with him. It was great and competitive, and we were able to, you know, really gauge where we were at that point. Boo Boo is a guy who I've used multiple times through camps. I've even actually used him when I fought Devin Alexander. So he's not new to the program at all. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get the sparring session set up with him, but he did send me tons of notes, things to look over, so on and so forth. So we are more than prepared for this fight.
Shawn,
I think it's to make this a dog fight and not just a pure boxing fight. Like a lot of the wrestling, the infighting.
I think maybe if anything, he may be saying things trying to get me out of doing that. I mean, let's be honest. We saw that with him and Mikey Garcia. He claims that he didn't knock out Mikey because everybody said he couldn't outbox Mikey. So he went out there to outbox Mikey. Point being, he heard what other people were saying about him, and he changed what he was doing. I'm not changing anything. Keith Thurman just said it himself. Go out there and do you. That's what I'm going to do.
Shawn, this is only the 11th welterweight unification in the last 40 years. Obviously, things like this don't happen too often. You were a part of, you know, obviously a lot of big fights. Keith Thurman, Kell Brook, to name a few. What does this mean to you, though? Because this is a different level of big fight.
Yeah, this is a different level. At this point, I know I was bred for something. I was made for this, and I really am trying to enjoy it all. Trying to enjoy every moment, every opportunity I can. When I get in the ring, I really do want to feel so good and feel so great and be so in tune with my corner. That everything flows the way we want it to flow, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Shawn, do you think that to show the back of your vest? Real
yeah,
fast.
I was gonna do
that.
Shawn, do you think that?
Let's look at his.
I got little man.
Yeah.
Oh. How's fatherhood coming? How's fatherhood?
Oh, it's fantastic. This right here is Sweet Science. This is what we're gonna call our clothing line, and this is what we're gonna do. Everything is gonna be tailor-made and whatever you want. We just stepped it up a notch. We hadn't been doing this before. Before the interior of the clothing was just really, really nice. We stepped it up a notch, and we got some really good images to put on the clothes.
Got something for tall brothers?
Got something for anybody. Anybody, you got it. You need it. We got it. Yeah.
Shawn, can you speak on the experience of being on NFL Sunday? That was pretty big for boxing.
That was big for boxing.
Can you speak on that?
Yeah, you know what? I will. This is what I want to say. Since I became a professional boxer, my whole goal through this whole thing was to change the persona of a professional boxer. And we still do. And we probably for a long time will have the bad boy image. But I wanted to set a different precedent. I wanted to show that not only are we excellent athletes, but we're gentlemen. We have sense. We have education. We have everything out there that those other athletes have, and you overlook a lot of that stuff. So I really did just always want to be in a position where I could show that. And Fox gave me an opportunity, probably one of the biggest opportunities that I've had in terms of broadcasting, to go on Fox NFL Sunday. And I went on there with all those guys, Michael Strahan and Kirk and Jimmy. I mean, all the guys. And these are guys that I've watched Sunday after Sunday. So to be on with them was fun. And from what I've been told, I haven't watched it, but from what I've been told, I did a pretty good job. So I'm enjoying it all.
Hey, Shawn, what is the same question? It's kind of what you alluded to. So y'all two brothers on this big stage, but there's no craziness, no Adrian Broner-ness, or none of that.
Yeah.
It's been very respectful, even though it's intense. Yeah. It's all about being who's the best. It's not personal. How big a deal is that y'all both came off this way on this platform?
At the end of the day, I think people forget that our job is to get in there and fight. I think a lot of times people look at things that we do outside of the ring or who we doing with or whatever, so on and so forth. At the end of the day, him and I are supposed to fight in the ring. Not supposed to be any ruckus, any ugliness outside of the ring. You know? So I'm glad that he's the kind of competitor that will try to go, jab for jab with me in terms of speaking, but not go overboard, and I will never do the same. So I appreciate him for that respect there, and we'll have respect even in the ring. And then outside of the ring as well. So I'm appreciative to be in such a big fight against a guy like him. I wouldn't have it any other way. That's why I really wanted this fight with him.
Two more questions. Shawn, this is a unification bout. This is a big fight for you. Mentally, how have you been preparing yourself for this fight?
I'm not downplaying it by saying this is just like every other fight that I've had. I'm not downplaying it, but I feel that no matter how many cameras are in front of you, you still do what you've been taught to do, So no matter how many fans are in the stands or how many people buy the pay-per-view, please buy the pay-per-view. My job remains the same, to go out there and be me, do what I do. Yeah. And I'm looking at Shocking the World on Saturday night.
Shawn, does it work to your advantage psychologically or mentally that Errol said that he is going to knock you out cold? Do you think that is something that he maybe has put too much pressure on himself?
He said it himself. Sounds good. I'll take one more right here. Yeah, go
Shawn,
ahead.
what does a prayer soul mean to you, and how's that going to help you in this fight?
I'm sorry, a prayer soul?
Yes.
What's that?
You mentioned that on the PBC, the prayer soul.
I don't think I've mentioned that, but we do a ton of praying. We prayed to break camp out there in Vegas. We've been praying together, staying diligent from a spiritual standpoint as well, man. I think in order for this to work the way we need it to work, everything has to flow simultaneously, physically, nutritionally, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, the whole nine. Everything has to click and fire on all cylinders. So that's what we're focused on right now.
Shawn, what's the